Well, good morning to you, Richard. What do you
Here
think?
we go. Here we
Um,
go. That
well,
means I'm in the Steeler mood.
well, you got your first round pick that you wanted.
I like him.
I
I like
know.
like him a lot. Like him a lot. But I got to be honest with you.
Tell me,
There's somebody that really has my curiosity piqued.
who's this?
Who would you think?
Aaron Rodgers.
No, I can't stand him.
um,
Stay home, Aaron. Please, just retire.
wait, who has your curiosity piqued? Hold on. I'm thinking about this. But Shadur Sanders.
No, way too.
Hold on. I could figure this one out.
Send this to somebody. Shadur Sanders, stay home. You know what? And he gets picked as a draft pick, and then he goes out and he punctuates the fact of the reasons that he didn't get picked, and he wants to be a party guy.
Who has your curiosity piqued?
Will Howard.
Yeah. Tell me why. You think he's gonna help out at some point?
I think I like him more than I like Mason Rudolph.
Okay, tell me why. Because his size? Because he's built like Roethlisberger?
I like that. And he's still fast. He still can run. He has mobility. He played here. He has a winner's attitude, and a winner's attitude wins national championships.
He played around a lot of great guys. He understands how it is to be in a big program. You know, Ohio State guys and Michigan guys and Penn State guys and kind of Big Ten guys not in Northwestern sort of always intrigue me in so much as think of this dynamic. They play in front of fewer people when they come play pro football. I mean,
true.
Same with SEC guys. Like the stadium gets smaller as they grow in their game, which is crazy.
That's a really good point. You know, I used to live in Southern California, and you'd go to the Rose Bowl, and the freaking Rose Bowl seats 110,000 people.
Right.
And you go watch USC play, and they're playing 110,000 crowd.
Yeah, then you go to a Rams game and there's, 30,000 people there. So your point is a very good one with Ohio State players and Big Ten players and SEC players. The situation is never too big for them.
Did you see his video with John Gruden?
I did.
I loved it.
And, if there's one thing Gruden knows, it's quarterbacks and offense and the minutia
of the game of football.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
He does. I like him a lot. I like his approach. I like his knowledge. For some reason, Will Howard really has my attention. And remember, can Mason Rudolph, does he have mobility? No, he doesn't.
Could they go into it with just these two quarterbacks, though?
No, I don't think so. I don't. Well, they could. It depends on training camp. I'd like to see how he comes out of training camp, because you could, and then you keep the other guy on the practice squad. But yeah, I mean, I really do. I like him a lot, Colin. I really do a lot. And I know it's probably putting too much emphasis on that, but I do. I really like him.
I think that it's going to be interesting to see how much they use him with their first round guys, and even at all the mini camps and stuff. If the Steelers are turning a new leaf and allowing guys like that to work out with their big dogs, that has to start happening more.
Oh, it does. It does. And here's the thing. If you look at it on the asset liability column, he can do what Mason Rudolph does. What Mason Rudolph does is has the ability to throw the long ball. We're enamored with that. I get it. So that's what Mason Rudolph has. Okay. On the other side, which could be a potential liability, it's not, because Will Howard can throw the long ball. Their mobility piece does not have it on the Mason Rudolph side. On the Will Howard side, he does have it. Youth, nimbleness, everything, man. He has more assets than Mason Rudolph does.
I would agree with you if you measured them and did a tail of the tape. You're right. And the one big thing he has too is youth, that he could grow into becoming a pro. I think you bring up a really good point. And one of the other points that comes off of yours is we've seen Mason Rudolph's ceiling. Like
We know, yes,
we know what he is.
Great point. Great point. And you know what? Mason Rudolph hasn't won a national championship. Mason Rudolph does not have greater wins than losses in his win-loss column. He does not. You know, it's like who was the worst Cleveland quarterback? Pick one.
I mean, they've been terrible. That whole laundry list of guys.
Right. And every single one of them that was terrible there was terrible everywhere else. There was nobody good. I mean, so you can't expect to hire somebody that's never been successful and tell them you need to be successful.
Yeah, it's not like they went on and were somewhere else and ended up being gangbusters. You know, Jeff Garcia or Greg Couch or, or Tim Couch. None of those guys, they ever did anything. But, you bring up a really good point. And even Johnny Manziel, whoever.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
So they've never gone on to be anything. I do like the flyer on him. I do like that he could potentially fit this style of offense. I'm really interested to see exactly, like I said, for me, the biggest point is the infusion of him into meaningful, practice snaps. That has to start happening.
I agree with that. And I want to come back to that because that's a coaching thing. So I would like to come back to that. But I have not seen Ben Roethlisberger's podcast. How does he feel? Do you know? How does he
I did not see it. I'll be honest. I don't really watch it much. I'll see whatever is reappropriated on social media that are like the big clips, Yeah. I would assume he probably likes them.
I would assume he does. And I don't think he likes Mason Rudolph.
No, he doesn't. So that could be a parlayed into that as well. But it was an interesting draft for the Steelers. I think the first round pick, gluing him next to Cam Hayward is the smartest thing the Steelers can do.
Yeah, that's great. I think it was a great draft for us. I really do. I think it was a great draft. I'm still concerned. I don't want them to sign Aaron Rodgers, and I want it to be their decision. I want it to be the Steelers' decision not to sign him. I don't want it to be Aaron Rodgers' decision, like we're waiting like a puppy dog. Please, please, please. No. Go away, young man. Just go away.
It feels like it's barreling headlong into a one-year deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, go away, Aaron. Nope, sorry, go away. I think it upsets the locker room. I think it does everything. It's just, I think Aaron Rodgers, he has a bad game. He'll come storming off the field, wham, all the way home. I'm sorry, I'm out on Aaron Rodgers 100%. Aaron, if you ever see this, if you ever hear this, great guy, maybe. I'm out on you, man. Retire. Seriously.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I think the Steelers, they've not reinvigorated my interest by any stretch, but my interest now lies in the decisions that they make.
Great segue into this.
Yeah.
And it has to do with Mike Sullivan.
Yeah.
Because you have to know, and it's already happening, the comparisons, because it is possible for both things to be true.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great coach, and it's time for a change. Both of those things can be true.
They've happened 3 times now in Pittsburgh in recent history. Mike Sullivan, Jamie Dixon, and Clint Hurdle. All 3 of those.
Yeah.
They were all 3 very good leaders, and they led their teams to wins, but it was kind of like it's stale. That's the word that I use.
But even Jamie Dixon didn't achieve the things that Mike Sullivan has achieved. Okay.
Oh, you're right.
Mike Sullivan. Okay. And so now, do people, because this is what I've heard, do people now start using what happened with Mike Sullivan? And Kyle Dubas is a really brilliant guy who said it's possible for both things to be true. He's a great coach, one of the greatest ever, and he will be that. But it was time for a change. So you use the word stale. Do you think now, have you heard the argument now that they're paralleling that to Mike Tomlin?
I've used that for 5 years. But here's the thing. The Steelers operate in a vacuum-sealed vault where they don't allow any outside noise to.
And it's worked pretty well for them, except they haven't won a championship. I get that. But So here's
or a playoff game in like 9 years.
Okay. So here's the question. Now you come off of the Mike Tomlin conversation. You come off the Mike Sullivan conversation, both named Mike, by the way. So you come off of that and you say, okay, what if the Steelers go 10-7 this year?
Okay.
Is there still an argument about the need for a new head coach? Pause that thought. Pause your answer. If they're 10-7, do you still argue that the coach needs changed? Flip it just a little bit and then go 7-10. Do you think that argument holds water?
Right, the year before the pandemic. So what are we talking now? 6 years ago? 5 years ago?
5 years.
I have fully turned into the regular season in the NFL for Mike Tomlin because he's not a new coach. And what do we see with his track record? The regular season in the NFL for him is inconsequential. It's a vehicle to get to the playoffs, and his measurement is fully about the playoffs. Right. So I don't care if it's 8-9, 16-1, 15-2, 10-7. It doesn't matter to me. What does he do in the playoffs? Well, actually, I don't care about the regular season at all. He's not a first or second year coach. Show me. Listen, they're 0-6 in their last playoff games, and they've given up like 38, 42, 48, 32 points. They get killed in those playoff games.
Defense.
They get scored on big in all those playoff games.
Defense. And I think, the players still have to play the game. I'm not a replace Mike Tomlin advocate. I'm just not. Because I think that, sometimes our coaches get caught up in that culture too. And no matter what, they know their hands are tied. And so, I think Omar and Mike this year did a really great job. It was embarrassing to me to watch some of the way that we got walked all over in the playoffs. I mean, we just really did. And we have to score points. I get that.
Yeah.
But man, the defense just was so porous, and whether it's injuries or technique or whatever it is, and I don't know what it is, but I know that we really and we were vulnerable right up the middle.
Well, I tell you, I use this same test all the time, and I think it's a great, for instance, if you were at an airport gate somewhere and you were in Dallas or Seattle or Los Angeles and you sat next to somebody and they were an NFL fan, and you said to them, hey, when's the last time the Steelers won a playoff game? People would not say 2017. Or what's Mike Tomlin's record in his last 6 playoff games? And somebody said, oh, yeah, I'm a Kansas City fan. I'm a big NFL fan. They wouldn't say 0-6. Everybody thinks he's better than what his actual record is. You just wouldn't get people saying that he hasn't won a playoff game.
On the bandwagon of you really need to replace Mike Tomlin.
I'm on the bandwagon of I don't know how we can.
What if they win one playoff game? You still replace Mike?
Then it's just, you want to know something that a lot of people, I mean, it just takes looking up and go. There has never been a coach that has gone 0-6 in 6 consecutive playoff games and kept his job, not named Marvin Lewis.
I'd have to rely on you for that. I don't know that.
That's fact. There has never been anybody go 0-6 and kept his job in the same place, not named Marvin Lewis. Mike Tomlin's the only other one.
But that doesn't really speak to being an argument to replace him just because nobody else has. I mean,
well, it speaks. Here's what the argument is: that throughout the course of NFL history, everybody seemingly values playoff wins.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I guess, and I didn't expect to go down this rabbit hole, but I was curious to see how the parallels are being drawn.
Oh, I think that they absolutely are. And Kyle Dubas, I thought, was brilliant in that press conference because it's amicable. There doesn't always need to be the hero and the villain. Like, everybody can be okay, and it's just time.
Yeah. But I did think that he really needed to make the point. I think he did make the point. I think he knew he needed to make the point that it was his decision.
Well, he's the boss.
Yeah, but it is his decision. It wasn't, Mike Sullivan didn't come in and say, hey, I think it's time for me to move on. He didn't do that. And I think Kyle needed to establish the fact that he recognized the need, he acted on the need, and he took the corrective action.
Oh, I have to tell you something.
What?
It just hit me. I hate to interject.
It looks important.
It's very important. I have a friend, and he went to his first Penguin game of the year was like the last playoff game or the last Penguin game, right?
What?
He sent me a text from the game. He went with his daughter, who's like 10. He said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. You should see the way people crawl all over each other to get these Bazzy hats that they drop from the ceiling." He said, because of and then we had this big long line of text. He said, because of the record and where the Penguins are, it is absolutely the most exciting thing happening in the arena tonight.
No.
He said, his words, people were crawling over each other to get these cowboy hats.
Chelsea's in here with me, and she's smiling because we've heard that before.
It was like
so cool.
Like, you know how people try to get a foul ball at like a baseball game?
Yeah.
Same thing. People crawling over each other, fisticuffs, violence breaking out, and then they immediately see them on eBay, I'm sure, and fetch thousands of dollars.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. You need to check that. I want some of that. Give me some of that money.
Well, here's the thing. They're not you can't order them out on the street. They are
not.
It's the only place you get them.
So I guess I shouldn't consider canceling that piece of our promotion.
Big to do. Had the people all excited. Next year, I think you should Ford on the one side and your face on the other side.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm already accused of being a narcissist, so stop it.
Well, then lean into it.
Gotta go.
All right.
I love you.